Hello, my name is Palani Ram. I have chosen to go with analysis of leadership in meetings for the special project. I work for a bigger financial firm in Texas and I am an AWS solutions architect. And I have chosen two meetings to present here. One meeting had a successful outcome with a decision made in that meeting, and one of the meeting was not successful, meaning the decision was not made. For the first meeting, which was successful, the purpose of the meeting was to find out a solution for a networking problem that we have. Before we go in detail on what the networking problem is, I'm going to explain you what is the infrastructure background that we have. We have two on-premise data centers in RTP and Omaha, and we chose to go with Amazon cloud solution, and AWS was hired, and the networking connectivity to AWS regions were given, and that is direct connect. And we also went with Azure as a second public cloud, and the network connectivity was also given to Azure. So now the challenging part is to have a connection between these clouds and to the on-premise environment, and which was solved with direct connect and express route for Azure. The connectivity within AWS depends on how the account is set up. This company has multiple AWS accounts, and each AWS account will have one or more virtual private clouds, which are called as VPCs. Connecting between the virtual private cloud is similar to connecting two different data centers. Though the VPCs reside within the same account, or it may also reside onto a different account, the connectivity type is same. And to have a private connectivity, we can do virtual private cloud pairing, which is called VPC pairing in short. But the VPC pairing had a lot of shortfalls, and especially a limitation on the upper limit. As this company had 700 accounts and 1500 VPCs with multiple common accounts that provide some of the common shared services for all of these accounts that are used by the business units within the same organization. Since we met the limitation of VPC pairing, we have to find out a solution that may be more viable and scalable for this situation. In the cloud networking team, we had 4 squads, which are all smaller teams within that networking umbrella. We had cloud center of excellence, we had engineering team, we have architecture team, and we had DevOps team. And I am part of cloud center of excellence team. Our head sent out an email with an meeting invitation for finding the solution for this problem. And some of our team members work from Ireland, and some of our team members work in Merrimack, some of our team members work in North Carolina. That means we also have remote team members, but most of us work in Texas. So this is before the COVID-19 situation. So we actually gathered in a room to find the solution, and most of us were in the same room. We had a video conferencing system with Zoom, and all the remote folks joined the meeting with Zoom video and audio. So we were able to virtually see them. So along with the invite, our head also sent out some information with agenda about the meeting. The information that we received was, okay, we have this problem, non-scalable networking solution for the inter VPC connectivity. Amazon has recently released a solution called Transit Gateway that can connect multiple VPCs and that can also connect VPCs that are connected to Transit Gateway, which is called transitive VPC connectivity. And this feature was also not given by VPC pairing. But with the flexibility that Transit Gateway gives, it also gives the security loopholes, because the connecting between multiple VPCs in a transitive manner opens up a networking gate to all the VPCs to connect and interact and invoke between any of the applications hosted on those child VPCs. So with this information, we came to the meeting, and the meeting was meant for 2 hours. So our lead once again read that summary and asked us if we have any questions. So we did not have any questions, nobody talked. So he continued. So he said, okay, we have this problem and there are multiple solutions around, including VPN, Transit VPC, Transit Gateway, VPC pairing. And VPC pairing is what we had at that point, which is what having some issues. And then people discussed each of those different solutions, and we had a senior executive assistant who was taking notes. She will be sending minutes of meeting after the meeting is over, generally after getting the approval from our head. So our head was keenly watching and noticing how everybody interacts and how we approach this problem, and if there is any time that he has to chip in if somebody is going completely off the topic, and then he used to pull us back in. So he followed a delegating model of leadership. So he wants us to come up with a solution, and then he just wants to be there when he needs to be there for any kind of guidance. So our architecture team and engineering team, who are well versed with the technologies, they spoke up. So we have also had some expert leaders in the team who are expressing their opinions, and we were all interested in saying our opinions and be participative in that meeting. One part that helped us to be participative in this meeting was the information that he sent out beforehand helped us to understand the problem and also do some homework and analysis on the problem and come up with viable solutions that we think may be possible here. So the approach of giving us enough time and agenda and motivation towards coming up with a solution as a team helped us to come up with the right solution. And then we decided not to go with the transit gateway for all VPCs, but to go with one common account that will have the transit gateway, and it will have the connectivity between accounts, but in a controllable manner. So in this meeting, I was able to observe different leadership styles. My manager followed a delegating leadership style, and then more often he also showed transformational leadership. We have some expert in the team who are showing expert leadership, so I would also call them as emergent leaders, because when any question comes up, we think if we go to certain person, he'll be able to give us some direction. Most of the time, without going to our leader, we go to that person and then get some solution. So when we were expressing our comments, he also was suggesting or making comments on our opinions, so which is what we were expecting. There were some folks who were not talking. For those folks, our manager actually asked the questions and asked them, did they understand, or do you have any concerns or questions? And quite often he was also summarizing the concepts and different proposals we have been discussing at that point, to make sure everybody is on the same page. Because since we have a remote team, sometime people don't understand, or people are not at the same page that everyone is. And also we have to make sure that the decisive nature of a statement or a discussion has to be clear to everybody. So anytime when that is approached, our leader chose to give a summary, which actually helped me. I felt many times I was off the road, then he explained that, so I came back to where everybody was. Okay, and then we ended up having a good, successful decision making meeting. The second meeting is generally a management oriented topic. It is to choose to go with either the current agile model or proposed scaled agile model. So the meeting was for 1 hour, but the participation was also there, but we saw a lot of confrontations and hesitations of going to the new model. So this actually showed me the human nature of not accepting any change. So few people were there in this team who were ready to accept the change, though the concept is pretty new for all of us in the team. Maybe we have just heard this is just not implemented in this company, and there were few people, they were strongly opposing to go with the scaled agile model. So at one point my leader even went with doing a secret voting within the team to see how many people are ready to go with the new model. Then the result was like 50% was not interested, 50% was okay in trying it out. And then our leader said, okay, there is nothing that we have to make sure that we are going one way or the other. We can just try out the new model and see if it works out, or if it does not work out, we always have the option to go back to the old model. But still people were afraid, because it might bring in new things that we don't know, and people were saying, okay, we can continue with the same model. It is basically what we are working is what we are going to do, even if the new framework. So different kinds of thoughts were there, but we were not able to be conclusive in that meeting for various reasons. So the outcome of the first meeting was successful decision made. The outcome of the second meeting was the actual decision was not made, but we had a different proposal. Our head proposed us to have a coaching session from our agile coach to see how well that may be suitable or may not be suitable for our environment, and later decide whether are we going with it or not. After having the coaching, and then we decided to go with the coaching, and then we'll have a further meeting to decide what we are going to do. That's it on my presentation. Thank you so much.